So tell us your name and what you do for the NDC party.
Okay, so my name is Atta Komla.
Komla.
Yes, I'm from the Adentan constituency.
Adentan constituency.
Yes.
Who's the MP there?
Honorable Mohammed Ademu Ramadan.
He's an NPP person?
No, he's an NDC MP.
NDC MP.
He's doing great things in the constituency. I think that for the past 4 years, he has single-handedly done a lot of things for the constituency as someone whose party is not in power. When you talk of bridges, roads, helping, supporting students with scholarships.
So are you here speaking on his behalf for the NDC party as well?
I'm speaking for the NDC, but I'm just making...
Do you hold any real position in the NDC?
So the position I hold as Deputy National Communication Officer for NDC Teachers Forum.
Deputy National Communications
Officer for NDC Teachers Forum.
NDC Teachers
Forum.
So there is an NDC group of teachers who have an association.
Yes. So basically, we've put together teachers from all the private schools.
Or no government?
Yes, we have teachers from the government schools.
You guys are supposed to be teaching students how to read and write and do mathematics, science, and all that. Instead, you have formed a political movement within the teaching body.
Now, the truth of the matter is that it is not our wish to form that political movement. But what we have done is to come together and make sure that at least the issues that are happening in the education sector, the way our education have taken a nosedive, all the indicators, everything shows that our education is on the verge of collapse. As teachers, we cannot sit down and watch the education.
But when NDC was there, the education system was super good. Is that what you're implying?
I wouldn't sit here and say it was super good. That is how you choose to describe it. If you know it was super good, then thank God. So
you don't think free SHS is good for
NDC time, education was actually at a very good position.
Without the free SHS?
Yes, even without free SHS, the economy was put Ghanaians in a position that those that send their children to secondary school, they were able to at least pay for the basic things that the children need to go to school. Today, we claim there is something called free senior high school, but parents cannot pay for the things that their children need to go to school. If you take a prospectus, if you look at the number of things that students are supposed to buy before they enter secondary school, close to 6,000 Ghana cedis, and you claim it is free, then what is free about it? Is it because they go there?
So you guys came together as teachers to advise or encourage or influence the students to vote in a certain pattern?
Our target is not student. What we intend to do, or what we have been doing, is that we bring out the ills of the education sector, things that are actually going on in the education sector that we think is not well with us and as Ghanaians as a whole. We speak to it, we point it out to draw the government attention to it for these things to be corrected.
And so far, has it been effective?
I think the government
have your voices been heard?
This government have paid deaf ears to all the issues that we have raised. For instance, if you take secondary school education, if you look at infrastructure, the infrastructure deficit has increased in secondary schools because the government has done nothing new to improve on the infrastructure. When Mahama was president, he built about 53 brand new.
You guys keep saying when Mahama was as if when Mahama was president, Ghana was paradise.
No, what I'm trying to say is that
was Ghana paradise when Mahama was president?
No, you asked a question about the education sector, and I'm actually trying to conclude on that. That Mahama built 53 new secondary schools,
and yet
other secondary schools were at the verge of
and yet the
other
people voted him out
at different levels of completion.
And why did the people vote him out, even though he was doing all these wonderful things?
You see, in Ghana, what I've seen is that when lies overpowers the truth at a point, people decide to go for the life because it wasn't their fault. I'm blaming anybody.
So you think Ghanaians were lied to?
Yes, because we have
who lied to us?
We have a vice president
who lied to us.
The MPP government, led by Akufo-Addo and Baumia. These two gentlemen.
Give me one of the classical lies they gave us.
Oh, I think there's one that we are all aware of. If the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you.
No, in terms of education.
In terms of education, one thing that I think, as they said, that I know today, I can stand here and say it was a lie, is how they claim they will implement a free senior high school.
I see.
Well, how they said they will implement is not what you are seeing. If you are telling us that they're going to implement a free senior high school policy where children will go to school and everything will be free, even if everything is not free, at least about 70 or 80% of the things that they need to go to school is catered for.
Right.
And today we are seeing the exact opposite of that. Students are supposed to pay spend about 7,000. Sorry, parents are supposed to invest about 7,000 Ghana cedis, 6,000 Ghana cedis before their children go to school, depending on even the.
So if John Mahama should come, what will happen to education system? Do you have any idea?
For me, I think that John Mahama has brought out a lot of policies in education. One of the things he has said that I think sang very well with me and a lot of Ghanaians is that he's going to review the senior high school policy, the free senior high school policy.
What does it do?
Review here doesn't mean cancellation. Review here means that we are going to sit down with all the stakeholders. Then we all look at the challenges that the free SHS policy is facing. Then we see how we can come together as a people and solve it.
So if it happens that the problem is solved, what do you think you do?
For instance, if you look at something like infrastructure, Mahama built 53 senior high schools. He claimed those senior high schools were in hinterlands or villages. Then what do you have to do? Add boarding facilities to it so that it becomes a boarding school. So people can go there and then have some quality tuition. But then you have decided to just lambast it because it is not from your government. So I believe that this strategy that Mahama is coming with, to sit down with stakeholders.
Well, not everybody agrees with free SHS. Somebody like me, I don't believe in total free senior high school. What I believe in is parents who are able to afford. We have to categorize them.
No.
Parents, hold on. Parents who are able to afford. In order for us to get a certain standard, quality of education, we have to do it in phases. We start off with children who are poor, whose parents are poor. We have to categorize all of them and use the secondary schools itself to distinguish schools that are paying, schools that are not paying. And then we move on from there gradually. I don't believe in lumping everything together, so that parents who have the financial muscle to pay should be allowed to pay. So that those who don't have, we can give them the proper nutrition, the proper textbooks, everything will be done appropriately.
Well, I think that the constitution, that the 1992 constitution has it clearly that we should have free basic education.
It says universal.
Universal.
It can be done in phases. It doesn't mean we are neglecting them totally.
I'm coming. So you have basic education.
Something you haven't done before. Hold on. Something you haven't done before. If you haven't done anything in, let's say, agriculture before, and you want to start tomato farming, would you start by farming on 1,000-acre land or say 1 acre land for experience purpose?
Yes, you see.
No, I ask you a direct question.
No, you start small. You start from.
So that is my perception. My perception is let's start small. Let's roll it out school by school or region by region or financial economic situation of parents by parents. If we put it all together, boom, and you want to roll it out for everybody, the quality immediately drops because it's very expensive.
You see, John Mahama started a free senior high school policy. No doubt about that. He believed in exactly what you are saying. That is what he believed in. That is why he started with a progressively free senior high school policy, which was launched somewhere 2015. He launched this policy to ensure that children who are attending secondary school, at least their tuition fees are catered for. That is how he started the progressively free senior high school. When he started that, he also invested heavily in infrastructure with the mind that the moment we finish with the infrastructure deficit, that has been one of the issues of this free senior high school policy. When we have good infrastructure, then we can move forward and say we are having free infrastructure, free senior high school for all. Now, we have already started it. Ghanaians have come to accept it. There's no going back. Because if you say you want to go back, you are going to raise a lot of issues. That is why they say there will be a need for a review. The review, when we sit with stakeholders, whatever will come out of it, that is what we determine.
That is where I have a problem with John Mahama. When you say we are going to sit with stakeholders, let me tell you my problem. You have been president before. You have been removed from your presidency. You have been out for 4 years. You want to tell me that in the 4 years you were not president, from 2020, for 8 years, sorry, from 2016 to 20 to 24, you haven't engaged stakeholders yet? You want to tell me you are waiting till you become president before you start engaging stakeholders? What have you been doing in the last 8 years? You should have all these things planned out. You should have already engaged a lot of these stakeholders, because when you go to our schools, we have NDC headmasters, MPP headmasters. This is the tradition, all right? So don't let us make him look as if he's now coming to collect data, to process, and then do what is right. He can, by this time, already engage all these people you call stakeholders and get his material ready. He has 4 years, bro. When he comes in, we don't have time waiting for him to now be calling stakeholders before he realizes 1 year is gone, unreviewed. Don't you think these are serious things to raise up?
So I know that you'll be following the mainstream media. And if you follow the mainstream media carefully or keenly, you realize that John Mahama has met with the stakeholders already.
So that
Mahama has met with NAT. He has met with NAT.
So why are you saying he's going to meet them again?
No, but he met them as an opposition leader.
Bro.
I'm coming. You ask a question, let me answer. He met them as an opposition leader to let them know what he intends to do, and also solicit their views on what they think that should be done in the education sector.
So what is he doing with that information?
I'm coming.
He's going to go for that same information. Are they going to say something different?
I'm coming. But if you want to come and lead the people, I'm coming. If you want to come and lead the people, and you have a policy on education, and you don't speak to those who are already there.
And you just said he has been speaking with them.
He has met them. That was going to say that. It is when he comes to power and the power...
Then he has to meet them again.
It is when... No, but if the power is given...
Do you know how long that will take?
No, if the power is given to him... Oh, but are you saying that the moment we hand over power to him, he should govern the country without those stakeholders?
No, I said by now.
Him.
No, listen.
No, I'm saying, he said by now. And I'm saying
that I've already gathered your information.
Yes.
That has to be serious.
I'm coming. I'm telling you that.
We are waiting before we come and do. When you have been a president before, this is somebody who has never been president. You are the one who speaks like this.
I'm coming.
He has experience being president. Are you aware of this?
No, I'm not saying he has never been president. But what I'm trying to say is that those stakeholders in the education sector
are different from the ones you engage now.
Stakeholders in the education sector now, they are there, and then they are much aware of the current situation.
Who did he engage?
It is just he met Nat.
Are they part of what he's going to meet when he becomes president?
He met Nat, he met Nagrat, and he met all the other stakeholders that play a key role in this education sector. So, based on that, when power is officially handed over to him, 7th November, if Ghanaians go to the polls and they vote for him, which I know inshallah will happen, and then he's sworn in on the 7th of January, you cannot say because he met them. Now, when he has been given the opportunity to lead, he will not by any way meet them again. He needs to meet them again and let them know, this is what I want to do. I met you before. Now you give me the power. Now let us start. How do you go about this? The plan is already there.
Let me be honest with you. You see, when we talk about why people are moving away from NDC and MPP, you guys still don't understand. Your approach towards problem solving hasn't changed. You guys are super slow and you don't seem like you see any problem with it. I am a president. I have lost an election. I have stayed out of government for 8 years. All that 8 years, I'm still running to come back again. I see a particular problem in the education industry. I say, when I come back, this is what I'm going to do. And based on that, I'm writing a manifesto. So everything you are putting in a manifesto is not just from your head. You actually met stakeholders and you said, what is the way out? And you have gathered information. So you put it in your manifesto, you are ready to run when you get there. Mind you, you have been a president before. You are telling us at this point that it is when I become president, when you vote for me, now I'm going to engage these people and that people, and then put all that data together, process it, and know where to start from. Listen, we don't have time anymore. We want people who are ready to run. Things that used to be done in 5 years, we don't want it done in 5 years anymore, Kobla. We want leaders who come and say, I have been here before, like what Trump was saying. Every Trump said. He said, I now know the guys I don't have to work with. I now know this. I don't have. He knows all these things already. So when he's speaking to the American people, they know that, no, this guy has gone and done his homework. He knows exactly what he's coming to do. But you are still telling Ghanaians, in 2024, when we are going into an election, that I am not coming to sit and engage with who else. What other information are they going to give you that is different from what you could have been gathered in 8 years? You need to hit the road and you need to run. That is when Ghanaians will take you serious. 4 years John Mahama has. He has to do his maximum best. And in order for him to do maximum best, you have to process information like that. You don't have time to waste. I don't know if you guys understand it or not, but I sit back as a person who is not in support of him. I will say, if you tell me this, it tells me how unprepared you are. Because if I were in your shoes, by now I have my strategies laid down. When I become president, X, Y, and Z is what you're expecting from me.
Well, I understand you from your point. I know you are playing the devil's advocate. But let me tell you this.
Tell me something.
When Akufo-Addo took over the mantle of power, do you remember what he said? He said, I'm in a hurry to run.
No, Akufo-Addo hasn't been president before.
I'm coming.
Don't confuse the two.
No, I'm making a point.
Make a legit point.
Allow me to flow.
I will allow you to flow, but don't make a point based on information that is not actually factual.
No. That information is...
John Mahama has been president, correct?
So allow me to flow. Your question is clearly made. I'm saying that Akufo-Addo became president. The first statement he made was that, I am in a hurry. What I'm trying to tell you is that it is not at the pace that you run, but it is how effective your speed is when it comes to governance. Governance is not about speed.
It's not about speed?
Yes, it's about results.
It's not about speed?
Yes, it is about results.
Are you sure?
I'm coming. If you're telling me that Mahama, when Mahama is handed over power, he should just start running and start doing things or start moving in a certain direction without consulting those who are already there, then I think...
I don't know where you are going with it.
No, you are saying that. I'm coming.
Yes.
I'm coming.
Prepare.
Mahama has already prepared. There's no politician in Ghana today who is contesting as president.
No.
Who is more...
Mahama's case
who is more... That's what I'm trying to say. Who is more experienced than John Mahama?
Good.
So Mahama is ever prepared. If you have read Mahama's manifesto on issues of education...
I have, bro.
You realize that what he's trying to say is that the free SHS policy is a policy that has come to stay. But the issue is that there are challenges in the education sector, which is one, infrastructure. You understand? Two, how the free SHS policy is implemented. Whether it will be free for all, whether it will be free for a selected group of people, it is when he's handed over power. Then he will look at all these issues with the stakeholders, look at the financial issues that are always attached to these things, and they will make a concrete decision as in where we are supposed to go. For me, I believe strongly that so far as he is the one who started the progressively free senior high school policy, and he is the same John Mahama that built about 53 brand new secondary schools, and about 100 of them were at different levels of completion. It is this John Mahama with Tamils that constructed the University of Health and Allied Sciences at Oho. It is this same John Mahama that expanded UDS to other parts of the northern region. His understanding of education is top notch. There is no doubt that Mahama will be able to make the...
Can I be honest with you?
Better.
Everything John Mahama did is right in your eyes.
I'm not saying that. I'm coming. It's not that whatever he did.
But yet the people voted him out. You guys don't seem to understand that there is a thin line between when you are so sure that the person has got it all totally covered, and yet there is a problem. There is a thin line. I'm telling you something that is not common, maybe in your circles when you are NDC people are discussing things. And I think you should be open to that idea that Ghana, as it stands now, we need the kind of leadership that runs with speed and efficiency. This speed is very important. The reason is this. Even if John Mahama solves Doomsaw at the tail end of his first term, 4 years, with efficiency, remember what I'm saying again. Even if John Mahama solves Doomsaw at the tail end, 4th year, in his first term, with efficiency and excess supply, people are going to look at him and say, people like me, and say, what was he doing in his first, second, and third year? Because within that same period, businesses were collapsing. People will be dying in the hospitals. A lot of people's monies are lost because of same Doomsaw. What I'm saying to you is this. If speed is not a part of governance to you, you have lost it. You lose it again. Because when you are taking your time to think that, oh, let me process it properly, before you realize before you come to the conclusion that this is going to be my solution, people's lives are already lost. We need people who think on the spot, people who are spontaneous. This is what the world is looking for. The world is not looking for people who are going to take 200 years like America did to become America. The world is looking for people who are going to take 30 years like Singapore did to become like Singapore. And so if you don't know how to blend these two, and you still want to run NDC, second run of NDC, like what you did the first round, I'm promising you, you come back here and the people will vote you out. Because you are going to take forever to solve problems. And that is not what the people need, bro.
You see, your understanding of speed in this contest,
it doesn't make sense.
I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. if you say it doesn't make sense, that is not coming from me. Yes, if you say it doesn't make sense.
What word are you using?
From me, you see, it is the challenges at hand that will determine how you go. Okay? When we talk of any president that used 4 years to develop this country, to expand infrastructure, okay, to employ more people, there's no president compared to that of John Mahama.
Including Kwame Nkrumah?
I'm saying that 4 good years.
No.
The Fourth Republic. I'm making comparison to the Fourth Republic. Let me tell you, the speed you are talking about, okay, it is with similar speed that John Mahama, with 4 years, he built Ridge Hospital, he built UGMC, he built East Municipal Hospital, he built Dodowa Teaching Hospital. It is the same speed that he built the number of schools that I have mentioned earlier. It is with the same speed that he expanded our road infrastructure. It is with the same speed that the John Mahama administration was able to achieve the kind of ticket inflation that we achieved. It was with the same speed that we achieved the GDP growth that we achieved. If you look at the GDP growth under John Mahama, from 2012 to 2016, if you look at GDP growth, 2016 GDP growth was 7.31. Let me take it from 2010, okay? Atamos was president then, but let me take it from there. 2010, 7.9 GDP growth, 2011, 14.5, 2012, 9.29, 2013, 7.31. That is with GDP growth. When we talk of the energy sector, it is with the same speed that Mahama Mills administration expanded our energy sector. When NDC took over power in 2008, okay, our energy sector covered, I'm talking about light electricity expansion to the whole country, it was 57%. That was 2008. The John Mahama and Mills Mahama administration increased it to 80%. That is a 23% increase.
Do you see the problem with what you are saying?
No, I'm making a point.
No, that statement alone you made is problematic.
No, I'm coming.
Read the last two statements.
I'm coming. I'm saying that
the problem there.
I'm coming. I said that we took over electricity expansion at 50. I'm coming at 57%.
Okay, 57%.
57%.
Okay,
that we took it from.
Right.
And then we left it. 2016. We left it at 80%.
Good. Hold on right there.
As I speak, I'm coming. As I speak,
you just want to read.
No, I'm not reading. I'm making a point.
Let's go back and forth.
As I speak to you,
there is a problem with what you have.
So identify the problem.
Good. You have taken the thing from 57% to 80%. Is that correct?
Yes, from 80%.
In how many years?
That was 8 years.
No.
8 years. I'm talking about, I said 2008 to 2016.
Okay, so 2008 to 2016.
2016, yes.
You took it from, hold on, I'll show you the problem. You take it from 57% to 80%. All right. The moment you begin to expand electricity supply to different parts of the country, do you know what follows next in terms of problem? The challenge that you face? When you are expanding electricity access, do you know what comes with it? It comes with supply, electricity supply.
Good.
Hold on.
I'll tell you what we did for that.
Hold on.
So that's a question.
Hold on. So you are busy in 8 years, according to your own words, expanding electricity access. But in that same period of time, what were you doing with the supply?
Thank you. Supply. When it comes to the supply of electricity, the NDC government, okay, from 2008 to 2016 added 2,885 megawatt of power.
And then what happened to us in that period?
That is why that is why you said,
hold on.
That's why you made a statement that there is something we call, that's why you made a statement that there's something we call, no, that is why you made a statement that there's something we call excess supply. If you realize, if you realize,
wait. Before let me show you where the problem. You are not seeing the problem.
No,
I will show you the problem.
You asked, you asked the question. I'm coming. Let me just land. You asked the question on the amount of megawatt the NDC government have added. And I'm telling you that we added 2,885 megawatts.
I get you.
That was the reason why. That was the reason why the NPP government and some pundits have said that NDC has added excess supply, and the country doesn't have money to pay.
What you are saying?
Not promised to give us. I'm not promised to give us. No, it's never false.
Let me show you where the falsehood is.
Where is the falsehood? Identify it.
You said from 2008 to 2016. Is that what you said?
Yes.
You moved it from 57% coverage,
yes,
to 80% coverage, correct?
Yes.
Okay. But in Ghana's record, from around 2014, 15, 16, about 3 solid years or 2.5 solid years, there was Doomsaw in Ghana. So I'm telling you, what you are saying is not true. If it is true and your supply was excess within that same period of time, there wouldn't have been Doomsaw. So what I'm saying to you is this. You were busy expanding access. Don't get it confused. Access to homes. But you were slow in providing supply. Supply was coming in slow, but access was rapidly expanding. So how do you process this when you are running on false energy? You are running on very limited energy. As in, you know that at the rate of expansion you are going, you cannot back it up with supply until the latter end in 2016 when Doomsaw was solved. So I'm telling you, what you are reading in your textbook may sound nice, but on the ground, it is not true, bro.
I'm not reading a textbook.
Because Doomsaw ran for like 2.5 years.
I'm not reading a textbook.
Doomsaw ran for 2.5 years because the rate of expansion was too big in comparison with the rate of supply. Tell me this is not true.
Okay, so listen,
is what I'm saying true?
No, you get this. The problem that the NDC government faced in 2008 when it took over power was that the erstwhile Kufuor Aliyu Mahama government for their 8 years tenure did little in energy production. So they didn't add much megawatt to what was already there. What they added was not even up to 1,000 megawatt. So the moment John Mahama took over, we realized that there was an issue of deficit. And then the processes to make sure that we bring in more of that started. Don't forget that adding megawatt of power to your national grid is not something that happens overnight. It takes process for it to be done. If you remember, when we were even bringing the Turkish power batch that we brought in, they had to take series of meetings between the company and that of Ghana's energy ministry before the deal was sealed. That was when we were able to bring in all these megawatt of power. So if you are saying that because there was expansion and there was Doomsaw, it means that the government was not working, that's not true.
That is
the two. I'm coming. The two doesn't happen. The two doesn't happen in the same pace or the same speed. If I'm connecting light from here to the next shop there,
what's the first one from happening before the second?
I'm coming. If I'm connecting power from here to the next shop there, I can just call somebody. It can be done just within the day.
My brother,
I'm making a point. So let me conclude. You have a better understanding.
No, I have a problem with you guys.
No, you haven't changed. You have a better understanding of this. If you have a better understanding, you have a better understanding. When I conclude
everything,
so what I'm trying to tell you is that it is as a result of Mahama's commitment to the energy sector. That is when we heard the word excess capacity. It is only
that happened.
I'm coming. It is only I'm coming.
You are.
Before he left power. Before.
At what point?
I'm telling you that.
No. Which year did that happen?
Doomsaw ended. Doomsaw ended. September 2016.
Exactly. This is the
I'm
problem.
coming. So I'm coming.
Hold on.
I'm making a point. Let me go.
You went into a position, but you didn't go and learn.
I'm coming.
If this is how John Mahama is coming back, I'm very disappointed.
No,
for you.
I'm making a point. Let's just get what I'm trying to say.
You are coming back to take another 8 years to match up with energy.
If you keep interrupting, then it means that it will be difficult for me to make my point.
Everything you are saying is falsehood.
What is falsehood about? You can check it. You have data. You have internet connectivity. I said you can check it. I'm giving you the opportunity to check it. Check the number of megawatt that John Mahama.
I am not saying John Mahama didn't solve himself.
No, I'm not talking about Doomsaw solving. I am talking about the amount of megawatt that was added. What I'm trying to tell you is that the fact that Doomsaw ended in 2016 doesn't mean that we didn't add certain megawatt of power. I'm telling you for a fact that even Atamils added some amount of megawatt of power before he passed on.
Are you done?
And if even Atamils during his time did not add about 800 megawatt of power to the national grid, the Doomsaw should have started long before the passing of Atamils.
Yeah,
it was. I'm coming. So what Atamils added even helped us to even maintain our energy sector up to when it started again in somewhere 2014. So Mahama took it upon him. He accepted the problem. It's not like Akufo-Addo who is saying he doesn't know about it or he keeps shifting blame. Mahama accepted it and tasked his energy minister, brought all the aspects together, and then they were able to add about additional close to 2,000 megawatt to what Atamils also added. That was how we ended at the 2,885 megawatt of power.
Are you done?
So what I'm trying to tell you is that there's no precedent ever in the history of Ghana, not even Kwame Nkrumah,
who did what?
Why should I be careful?
You go ahead. Say what you want to say.
No, I think there's no precedent in Ghana. Yes, and I'll tell you the reason why. There's no president in Ghana that have added more megawatt of power to a national grid like John Mahama and the Mills administration. Do you know why? Look at the population and the energy consumption during the era of Kwame Nkrumah. What was the population of Ghana then? And look at the population of Ghana when Mahama took over, and the way businesses were expanding during his time, and the demand for electricity during his time.
I think I have to interject you now. Okay, it's okay. Let me say this, because I think the level of lies you guys have perpetuated for years, it has taken over your ability to solve problems. Now you make lies look like it's truth.
It is your inability or refusal to check the fact that makes you think it's a lie.
Hold on. Let me break it down for you. And I don't think you guys appreciate what Ghanaians are looking for. I'll say that to you.
Ghanaians appreciate what the NDC is coming with. That is why all the polls have predicted NDC to win to close about 54% of the vote.
No problem. Let me tell you what Ghanaians are looking for. The idea of solving problem soppy by soppy, this is not what Ghanaians are looking for. Ghanaians are looking for two things. And I'm telling you because I am also collecting data. I run a platform. I listen, I watch people's comments. People are looking for leadership that is able to solve problems in the long term. They are looking into the future. So when you are talking about capacity expansion and Atamils adding this number, that number, That is not what we are looking for. That is a tip of the iceberg. Let me tell you what solutions are. Hold on. Our population will never decrease again. You have to get this fact straight. Our population will only increase. And if it's going to continue increasing, whatever solutions you are bringing should have in mind the numbers that are going to come afterwards. Very soon we are going to hit 40 million people. So if you are bringing a power batch, if you are bringing an hydro plant, if you are bringing a thermal plant, you are thinking in that direction. We need a kind of leadership that is coming and is going to say, we are solving problems. We are solving problems that is going to sustain Ghana and be improved on for the next 50 years, then the next 60 years, 100 years. This is the kind of leadership we are looking for. Because whether you like it or not, people are going to increase. We don't want to be doing this every 5 years or every 8 years. That at the end of every 8 years, Ghana's power supply will have to be shaky because the people have increased. That doesn't make you a long-term thinker. That is what the NDC I find problem with. Number one. Number two, you are comparing JDM to Kwame Nkrumah on power production. My brother, you have to be very careful. The reason why you have to be very careful is this. When you start running a country and all these facilities are not available, and you have to be the first to be thinking of a hydro plant that is going to sustain Ghana from 1957 until when did we start adding badges? Do you know when? From 1957 until somewhere in the 1990s or 2000, then we started adding badges. You are talking about somebody who put in place a hydro plant in Akosombo that has been running and sustaining Ghana for more than 50 years. And you are comparing someone who came to solve it for 8 years, and we are going back into Doomsaw again. And you are saying this guy has done more than the guy who has done a project that has sustained Ghana for 50 years. I don't see where you are going with this. It is not going to help you. The next thing I'll tell you is this. If you guys are going to be very attractive to Ghanaians, I'm talking about the NDC, you have to tell Ghanaians how changed you are. Because from everything you are saying, it looks like the same old NDC people we left them in 8 years ago. You are the same people. You didn't grow. You didn't add any new innovations to what you have. You are coming back with that same rhetoric, same solutions to our problems. Bro, it has passed 8 years ago. The kind of solutions we need today, I don't see John Mahama talking about them. The kind of food security we need today, I don't see John Mahama talking about them. The kind of educational system we need today, he's now going to be doing what? Meeting stakeholders and all of that. We need people who come in ready. Let me take you on this topic. There is this video on social media where John Mahama is talking about helping families in Ghana to start poultry farming. Have you seen that video?
I have.
Okay. And he's talking about...
I guess what you saw is only a doctored one.
Which one is the correct one? Give me an idea of the correct one.
No, you come.
Okay.
Finish with the question.
The one I saw in that video, I see John Mahama talking about Yabema Nkoko eni Nkoko bu seden kakra na mu nyina wa kwa yen ufie. Is that the correct one?
I'm not here to validate that.
But you said you think you are hoping it's not the adopted one. That means you know the original one.
You are not playing the exact tape. So because I don't play the exact tape.
You know the exact content of the tape.
I know the content of the tape.
You want to share with us?
I don't know why you want to share the content of that tape.
No, you need to tell us.
So let me tell you basically what Mahama was trying to say. And I believe that people who are open-minded and did that, then taking off their political lenses, who get the understanding of what you're trying to say.
Okay, please educate us.
So you see, Mahama was trying to say that he's going to go on what you call, he's going to look at the agriculture sector, that everybody will be involved, provided you are willing and you are ready to come out and start something. That is what he was trying to say. So, if you're a young man and you want to go into poultry farming, the next NDC government will support you by at least setting up the hen coop and giving you the chickens. Even if it is 30, 40, 50, 100 chickens, you start with, you know very well that it will not end there. With the support of the government, the business will grow. You made a statement here that if you want to start a business, you want to start farming, and you want to start, will you start whether with 1 acre or 100 acres? You made a statement here. So if Mahama is trying to say that those who would want to venture into that area, he will support them by giving them something small to start with. The government will then guide them to how to grow it for it to become something big. And then someone says because of saying it is a problem. That means that you sometimes contradict what you say. Because we all know for a fact that for this country to grow, we must increase our production. Whether it is small-scale farming, we must make sure that we increase it to a larger scale. But then you have to start from somewhere. So those who don't have any capital at all, out of school, but want to start something, why don't the government support you with something like that for you to start with? That is what he was trying to say. And people are taking it out of context.
Let me tell you the problem I have with that.
You see, I'm coming. You have problem with everything that the NDC wants.
No.
I'm coming. So let me conclude.
That I don't have
conclude. So far, all the things you said is just a problem that you think you have with the NDC government.
My brother.
But the political party, I'm coming. The political party.
You have a statement which is not true. But I have problem with everything.
But you said it. Let me tell you. You said, let me tell the problem you have. Let me tell you. You repeatedly say that.
So hold on.
So I'm making a conclusion. That for
I have a problem with everything NDC has.
You have mentioned the problems you think you have with the NDC and how the
No. I say it based on issues. I bring the issue and then I bring my problem.
Whether you say it based on issues or not, you said it. So what I'm trying to say is that you've raised issues on what with some of the things you have. Problems you have with the NDC, you've identified those problems,
and I've brought another topic.
So what I'm trying to say is that
on it.
You
I want to bring my challenge with it.
No,
you don't want to
let me conclude. You also don't want me to conclude. If you ask me,
bro, I kept quiet and listened to you.
No,
you haven't concluded.
I'm about to conclude, but you have been interjecting. So how do I conclude? So what I'm trying to say is that you have mentioned severally the problems you have with the NDC, but you have not been able to give us one thing that you think your political party, which I don't know whether it's a new force or a call or whatever, you will do to support, or you will do to change the problems that we have, or to solve the problems you have. You haven't. You keep on hammering. You keep on hammering. I have problem with this. I have problem with this. So come out with your solutions.
Are you done?
If it is new force, tell us how new force to do A, B, C, D, A.
Are you
to
done?
Transform the economy. If it's a Kwadonko has said that one of the so about offense dual witness for voters ID. If it's that's the political party you support, come straight and tell us what you want to do.
Are you done?
Yes.
Okay. Let me tell you first of all the problem I have with that NDC thing, John Mahama statement. I think NDC still have a challenge with taking responsibility of governance. We have seen this done in Ghana severally. When government, instead of being in charge, wants to be passive. And so government doesn't want to always carry the blame. So what do? They throw it to the people so that when the people disappoint or squander the money, they will say it is not the government, it is the people. Let me break it down for you. There is nothing that stops John Mahama's government. And this would be my solution. Since you're asking me, what will I do different? There is nothing that will stop my government or John Mahama's government from, instead of giving hen coops and chickens to individuals who are interested to go and farm chicken, there is nothing that stops him from starting a state-owned chicken farm. Nothing stops him. You people have never listened to people outside of NDC. All you know is NDC stories. I'm telling you something different. If NDC wants to capture the minds of the young people who are coming, we have a nation that imports more chicken than almost every country in Africa. We have a country in Ghana which imports more eggs more than any country in Africa. We import more the baby chicken itself. Mali, Senegal, Burkina Faso, they all come and pick their chickens from our port. We know all these potential Ghana can tap into. When we are looking for leaders who say, I'm going to step into that space and have the biggest chicken farm in this country, where Ghana will be the biggest chicken producer in West Africa, so that in the future, Niger, Mali, Senegal, Burkina Faso, they don't have to wait for Holland chicken again. They can buy from Ghana. John Mahama is not thinking that direction. Instead, he is putting that responsibility in individuals, people's hands when they are interested in doing it. This is why we have a problem with your leader. And I'll say it for the last time. Until the day when we see leadership which is interested in starting state-owned enterprises, we know they are just playing with words. Because when you give it to the individual person to go and rear, and the individual person fails, there is no return. When the individual person rears the chicken and he says, disease has killed all of them, that is the end. It has happened in our country severally, where there is, whether JIDA or something, they create a name and they give the people a certain role to play, and the people will fail. And all that money that has been committed to that project is wasted. Meanwhile, the government is sitting on their hands, idle. If we're a government, you have to be competitive. This is the new era we are in. A government of Ghana must not just sit back and be collecting taxes, must not just sit back collecting tariffs. A government of Ghana must get involved. How do you get involved? You are not just giving the people chicken and coops. You are actually starting a chicken farm. And then you can run your 24-hour economy. Because you own the chicken farm, you know how many hours people are working a day. You can rotate it, you can regulate it. People's buses bringing them in and out is secured. You are government, you have the capital to take all of that responsibility. But the government is not doing it. And when we hear these things on TV, and John Mahama is saying, and I love John Mahama, because I find him as the most tolerant politician in my lifetime. Very tolerant, very, very tolerant man. He has big heart. But I feel the people that he sits with to plan his manifesto with, it looks as if they don't want to put any responsibility on the government. All they do is to create something that will put responsibility in the hands of the people, and they know the people will fail, and all that money will go to waste, and the people will not come back and blame the government that you started something and it didn't go anywhere. This is what is happening in our country. That is why I brought you up the topic and asked you. The statement John Mahama said, do you see any problem with that? You are saying, I am having complaints with everything NDC does. Listen, there are things NDC is coming up with which I totally support. Let me give you an example. Are you with me?
I'm listening.
NDC is coming up with, what do you call, they called it what? Agric centers or something. They were explaining it in their manifesto. They are going to create the environment, they set up the machinery, the irrigation system, the road network. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
They are doing all of that. Then when NDC, which I support totally, the government should take responsibility in that. Then it brings me to where I disagree with the NDC. After they have done all these things, laid all the foundations down, guess what the NDC does next? You know what the NDC says next? They are going to now depend on private farmers to come and farm in that space. And I'm sitting there scratching my head. What is going on here? You are going to set up the farms. You are bringing in the machines that will plow. You are bringing in the irrigation system. You are bringing in the road network, and then sit back and watch private people farm. What is stopping you, NDC, from running a state farm in that same enclave? At the end of the day, it is clear that no political party in Ghana, at least for the two parties that we know of, NDC and PP, none of them is willing to carry the responsibility. They always want to throw the responsibility to the people so that when monies are squandered, they wouldn't be blamed. That is what I think.
You've said a lot, but you see, for instance, if you are talking about the state should want this, the state should do that, the state should do that. Don't forget that now all over the world, economies that are developing, most of the things that help the economy to develop is from the private sector.
Not true.
Please, the government would have to...
You say all over the world, it's not true.
I'm coming.
I have to let you know it's not true.
You can say it's not true. You've not provided any fact.
I'll provide you facts from Singapore, China, Malaysia, South Korea.
You see, all those economies you are mentioned, it's the government that create the environment for those economies to thrive. It's the government that create the environment. So if the government is saying that, the NDC government is saying that, I'm going to create the environment for agricultural sectors to thrive. So that individuals who want to go into agric, individuals who want to go into farming will be given certain incentives, will be given agriculture, there'll be mechanic service centers in the villages where equipment will be serviced, free for farmers to help them to be able to what? To farm. The government is by then creating the environment for everybody who wants to go into agri to succeed. So if you sit here and you tell me that why is it that the government is not creating state farms? Because the government is not creating state farms, the government doesn't have any heart or any plans for agriculture. They mean that you also do not have any understanding of how the private sector come together with the government to create the environment for the economy to grow. Because over the years, the erstwhile NDC government provided free fertilizers for farmers in cocoa areas. Farmers in general were given free fertilizers. It was when Akufo-Addo came into power. That was when they cleaned the not for sale and then smuggled those fertilizers to Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, and other countries to go and sell. Agric is so big. The agric sector is huge. If you look at the percentage of Ghanaians who are into farming, and you are telling me that because the government didn't say to create state farms, the government doesn't have plans for agriculture, then you also do not know the percentage of Ghanaians who are into farming. So the government needs to create the environment that will help these farmers to succeed and for Ghana's economy to grow. And that is what exactly the NDC government intends to do. The plan is to enroll in more people who are sitting in the house after university doing nothing. If the government should even come up with a state farm, I'm asking you, if the government comes with a state farm and that state farm is even employing 1,000 people or 2,000 people, that is okay. That's awesome. But the issue is that, will that be able to solve all the problems that we have? No. We need to make sure that we encourage more young people to move into agriculture. That will, by so doing, if you are running your business yourself, like this studio you run it with so much passion, so much energy. But if it is given to the government to handle, or if the government is handling it, even those who are employed to work in those companies, you know sometimes the kind of attitudes people take in there. So if the government, the NDC government intends, the next NDC government intends to encourage more young people by supporting them in that way so that they can start agriculture, they can start farming, they can start either poultry farming or any form of farming, I don't see anything wrong with it. It is not only that audio, or it's not only that statement. There are a lot of things that the NDC government intends to do in the agriculture sector. You mentioned one, that the NDC government is going to set up agric centers in all the villages, all the farming centers. We're going to cluster them, set up agric centers so that they can have equipment for farming. When those equipment have challenges, to be serviced, and agric will be modernized. When we do that, it is individuals who are farming, but the government is supporting them. Yes, we increase our agric production. I'm coming. Even if you look at Ghana's food production, okay, from 2008 to 2016, Ghana's food production was doing very well. Prices of food at that time was much cheaper. But today, tomatoes is expensive, onions are expensive, everything is expensive. And this increase is happening each and every day. That is why John Mahama is saying that he's going to focus largely on agriculture. The 24-hour economy he's talking about, agric is part.
Are you done?
You understand? So the picture shouldn't be painted that
Are you done?
Because he didn't say he will do a state farm, he will do a state that. So he doesn't have plans for agriculture. Go to all the developing countries and see. They are agric. It is not it's not mostly by the government. It is individual.
This is what I said.
But when you create the environment for these individuals to thrive,
You have said this.
that is, yes, I've said it. But I want you to get it
now?
right.
Can I come in now? Now, there is something I said to a young guy from your camp, NDC, who came here. There are two ways to learn when you are an African company, what you call country, that wants to develop. It's either you go and learn from the West, specifically from America, or you go and learn from Asia, specifically South Korea, Malaysia, China, Singapore. Everything you have said, it makes sense. It makes sense. That is why NDC is NDC. But what I'm telling you is this. Everything you have said, we will come back here, and you will come back and you'll be telling us why the thing failed. Because it will fail. The reason why it will fail is because from 1992, this has been the approach. Private-state partnership. Private partnership, making an enabling environment for private farmers. This has been the approach. And at the end of it all, Ghana has become an import-driven country. Why? Because when you leave the very staple of your country in the hands of private people, you are leaving the economy in the hands of private people. And everything will skyrocket. This is what it means. Ghana's population will continue to grow. The kind of food we continue to import in this country will continue to increase. Why? Because at any given time, any point in time, the private producers, they decide when to be operational and when not to be operational. And you don't get that part. When a private person wakes up in the morning, a farmer, and doesn't feel well, he doesn't go to the farm. When a farmer goes to the farm and he farms for 1 hour and he feels like he's tired, that is it for him. When a farmer has no contract with the state to produce, the farmer is not obligated to work any number of hours. This is where you people are not getting it. But when the state is farming, the state farms with time because people run shift. People are paid salaries. So people's working hours can be calculated. And because working hours can be calculated, output can also be quantified. We know we are farming on 1,000 acres of land for maize. After 3 months, we are harvesting whatever tonnage of maize. This is what you build a nation on. You build a nation on predictability. Things that you are sure is going to happen. Not things that you are not sure of. In leaving your business in the hands of private people, you can always make the economy conducive to the private farmer. But you, the government, you have a responsibility to make sure that your food security is in your own hands. This is what the Asians have done. When you go to Asia, every huge farm you find in Asia, China, Singapore, Malaysia, Korea, you find a state element in it. The state is...
What do you mean by state element?
I'll tell you. Let me take, for instance, China, how they have been able to solve their food challenges so that 1.3 billion people don't starve to death. The state has recognized that we are going to import a lot of food. But if we depend on our local farmers, this is the maximum they can do. State, we are going into state farming. We are going to do 2,000 hectares in every region or every province owned by the state. Whether you bring in private people to head the place or not, that is another thing for another day. But it is owned by the state. And because they know they have 2,000 hectares here, 2,000 hectares there, 2,000 hectares scattered all across the country, they can predict the quantity of maize, sugar, pigs, pork, cattle, chicken, whatever they are getting at the end of every month, they know. Then now they can bring in all the private farmers' produce and supplement it. This is how you run a country. So that at every point in time, you are in control. No country can decide to fight and your economy breaks. Ukraine will fight, your economy will not break because your state is already farming. If you are not doing this and you are depending on your local farmers, we are going to import so much so that when a foreign country is fighting, we don't have supply of wheat, we don't have supply of maize, and our economy is breaking. This cannot happen. But you have come here and you are playing the same music that the NDC party has been playing for the last 16 years. You don't want to add anything to it. You think this strategy is the best strategy moving forward for the NDC. I cannot blame you, bro. But it's very painful for me to sit here and watch you say the same thing as making the environment conducive for... Listen, environment conducive can always be done for private businesses. But that shouldn't take away the government's responsibility of getting involved. The government must be active. The government must be participant. It must not just sit back and be playing the headmaster role. No. The government goes in there and says, I can also produce because I have the capacity. I have all these people at my disposal. I have all these funds at my disposal. I can have access to more lands. I can also produce. But you don't see the point in that. All you see is making the environment conducive for private producers. I can't fault you for that. Let me move you to another topic.
No, so let me make a quick point. You see, when you were making your point, you just mentioned state farms here, state farms here. You didn't mention the amount of contribution the government have put in there. Some of the farms you claim to be state farms are not even entirely for the government. Go and check those countries. Most of these state farms you are talking about, I am not saying it's not a good thing. You understand? I am not sitting here to say it is not a good thing. But what I'm trying to say is that we need to start from somewhere. Ghana's economy is not the same as that of China. Our financial strength is not the same as China. So you cannot draw a manifesto that without taking into consideration the current economic situation of the country. Again, when you are mentioning state farms here, state farms here, state farms here, you did not mention that when you go to Singapore, the government owns 70% of the farm or 60% of the farm. Some of these farms we are talking about is not solely owned by the government. It is done in collaboration with private owners or those in the private sector. That's what I'm trying to tell you, that for the vision of the NDC this time around is to make sure that we support agriculture by making sure that farmers are supported with what? Modern ways of farming. Those who want to go into agriculture are also supported and encouraged to start with. There is always a way to start. You cannot sit here and say that because this is happening in Malaysia or it's happening in the US, Ghana should just wake up a day all of a sudden.
After 16 years, you still don't get
coming. You cannot tell me that Ghana should just wake up one day and start doing the same thing.
After 16 years,
I'm making
and
a point.
you still don't get
When
it.
you were speaking, I listened.
Well, we have to move to another topic.
No, so I'm making a point to you that all the things you have said, it makes sense. But Ghana cannot just wake up one day and start doing
There's
it.
no one day.
Especially when you have brought in when you have a president or a government that has run our economy down to the extent that every indicator, every aspect of our economy is what it needs. It's on its knees. You cannot expect a new government to come and they come and be promising promising to change everything in the country within a month or two.
What should Ghanaians expect? Hold on. Let's move on. What should Ghanaians expect when it comes to import duties? When the new NDC government is in power, what should Ghanaians expect? So this is the question I'm asking because somebody is trying to get answers for them.
For import duties, we all know that as I speak to you, import duties are extremely high.
Right.
So because of how high the import duties have become, everything we import into the country will end up also being expensive.
Right.
Especially when you have $1 to 17 cedis. So it means that any businessman who wants to go and buy something or import it into the country will need more cedis to be able to get dollars. That one is also there. It's going to add to the costs of goods and services. The person brings the thing, gets to the port.
So what should we expect?
That one is also very high. So what the NDC government intends to do is to make sure that you put in measures, to ensure that these import duties are reduced. For import duties, Mahama has promised to reduce them. He has promised to reduce import duties. And you see, reducing import duties will not be something that I can stand here and say he reduces by 5% or 2% or 3%. But if you look at the comparison, even between the elsewhere Mahama government and then this current government, import duties were extremely low under Mahama than it is today. So I'm very confident that the way he was able to maintain our import duties at a reasonable rate when he was president, when he's giving the nod again, I'm sure that, like he said, he will reduce import duties and ensure that at least Ghanaians would have that luxury if you look at something like Toyota Vet, I'm using as an example. Toyota Vet, somewhere 2014, 2015, was selling around, I think, 20,000, 15,000, 20,000 Ghana cedis, because that time import duties were quite low. You understand? But today, as I speak to you, you cannot get Toyota Vet less than 80,000 Ghana cedis, all as a result of what? Import duties. So I'm very confident that the Mahama that I know, that has over the years, okay, maintain our, when he was president, he maintained our import duty at a reasonable rate. I believe that he can do the same thing again.
All right. In conclusion, I want you to look into the camera and tell Ghanaians why we should vote for John Mahama. You have about 3 minutes.
What I want to tell Ghanaians is that we are actually, the country is at the verge of collapse. And it is no more about NDC, it is about this country. We cannot sit and watch our country collapse. As I sit here, I'm going to vote against corruption. I expect every Ghanaian to vote against corruption. I'll vote against Galamsey. I'll plead with Ghanaians to vote against Galamsey. I'll vote with broad daylight robbery through taxes. I'm going to vote against that, and I expect Ghanaians to also do the same. Again, the policies of this, the next NDC government is transformative. If you take a policy at 24-hour economy, we've said it severally, it is going to keep our economy running around the clock, non-stop. So I plead with Ghanaians to consider, if you're a young guy or young girl, you're in school, and you are thinking of what you do when you come out of school, think that there is a policy called 24-hour economy, and the formula is 1 job, 3 shifts, 3 people, 133. So this is going to solve the unemployment problem in the country, going to reduce it drastically. As we speak, unemployment is around 2.5 million people, young people, they're home. That is about 15% of the total employment. So I plead with Ghanaians to actually consider these policies and look at the ineptness, insensitivity of this current government. It's only under Akufo-Addo that he was able to award millions of dollars to his own daughter to buy spare parts for ambulances. I don't know if when she started, when she even created that company, it is known that the company just came a few months after the company, the contract was awarded. So I want to plead with Ghanaians to vote for change, a change that will transform the country, a change that will reduce and stabilize our exchange rate, a change that will lead to reduction in goods and services, a change that will reduce the pressure on parents when it comes to issues of education. And that change will only come through the NDC, the John Mahama, and the NDC government.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a very insightful discussion I've had with him, Mr. Komla.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Atakomla, thank you so much for making time to come through the studio. We'll come your way again with another one. Until then, please remember to subscribe, like, and comment. And please click on the notification bell for more of our content. Thank you so much, Komla.
Thank you very much.